Most people wake up already defeated. Before they even open their eyes fully, they're drowning in distractions, reacting to noise and surrendering to pressure. Their first breath isn't one of purpose, it's one of panic. The alarm screams, the phone glows, the mind runs wild before the feet hit the floor, and without realizing it, they've already given the world control. But you were not built for that. You were not built to wake up in survival mode. You were built to lead, to shape your life by design, to rise with fire in your soul, not fear in your heart. The moment your eyes open, you're standing at a crossroads. Will you command this day, or will you let it command you? That's the question that separates the drifters from the driven. Because the truth is simple. The first 10 minutes of your morning are not just minutes. They are momentum. They are the blueprint. They are the foundation of your identity. They decide if you lead your life with discipline, or if life drags you around like a puppet pulled by strings you didn't choose. You don't stumble into greatness. You don't trip and land into confidence. You build it. You choose it. One intentional morning at a time. Every morning is a chance to reset your reality, to declare who you are becoming, not with empty motivation, but with movement, not with fantasies, but with focus. Because what you do in those first few minutes is a mirror. It doesn't just show your habits, it shapes your character. If I followed you around for one morning, I could predict your future. Not because I'm a prophet, but because your patterns become your path. And your morning routine is your most powerful pattern. The world won't tell you this. It wants you distracted. It wants you rushing. It wants you checking notifications before checking in with your own soul. It wants your mind fogged and your spirit reactive. Because if you start the day without clarity, you'll chase everyone else's priorities before your own. You'll react to life instead of writing it. But the winner, the rare few who rise with purpose. They don't start their day by scrolling. They start by stepping into their mission. They don't hit snooze, they hit purpose. They don't drift into the morning, they dominate it. And here's what they know. The way you begin is the way you become. When you wake up and speak your vision, your mind listens. When you move your body with energy, your spirit ignites. When you write your mission, your heart starts to beat with intention. These are not small things. They are everything. Because the first decision of your day is not just a decision. It is a declaration. It tells the world, I am not here to survive. I am here to build. I am not a follower of moods. I am a leader of moments. And this moment, this morning belongs to me. Most people begin their day in reaction. They rise because they have to. They answer the world before answering their calling. They're already behind, already stressed, already shrinking. But you are different. You rise on purpose. You rise to own your identity before the world tells you who to be. You rise to activate your mission before emails flood in, before voices distract, before the noise takes hold. Because you understand if you do not lead your mind, it will follow anything. You must protect the first few minutes of your day like sacred ground. This is your mind's most fertile soil. Plant chaos here, and your whole day will spiral. Plant clarity, and your day becomes a fortress. Strong, focused, unshakable. And the first seed you must plant is the hard thing. The one thing you don't want to do, the cold water, the quiet meditation, the lonely jog, the resistance that screams, not today. That is your test. And how you answer will decide everything. Because power is not built in comfort, it's built in resistance. Every time you do the hard thing first, you prove to yourself that you are the kind of person who doesn't run. You are not controlled by moods. You are not swayed by softness. You are forged in fire. Do not wait to feel motivated. That's what the world does. And the world is full of waiting, wishing people. You create motivation. You generate it through action. The achievers, the builders, the leaders, they act before they feel like it. And that's what makes them unstoppable. The morning is not where you hope for strength. It's where you demonstrate it. You are not warming up for the day, you are setting the tone. And when your first act is one of strength, the rest of the day follows. When your first words are powerful, your mind becomes powerful. When your first breath is deliberate, your choices become deliberate. Your morning is not an obligation. It is your opportunity. It is the first vote you cast for the kind of life you are building. And every time you hit snooze, every time you reach for distraction, every time you delay your power, you cast a vote for weakness. But when you rise with fire, when you speak life into your future, when you look in the mirror and declare, "This is who I am becoming," you cast a vote for greatness. This is how transformation happens. Not once in a while, not on New Year's Day, but daily, consistently, through the small rituals that shape your identity. Speak your vision aloud, not because it's magic, but because it's programming. Your subconscious mind is always listening, and it doesn't know the difference between a joke and a direction. What you repeat becomes what you believe. What you believe becomes what you do. And what you do becomes who you are. You want to live different? Then start speaking different. Start moving different. Start choosing different. Don't say, "I'm tired." Say, "I'm rising." Don't say, "Another long day." Say, "Another opportunity to lead." Don't wake up in defeat and expect to walk in victory. The future is not built by chance. It is built by choice. And the first choice you make every day is how you show up in the morning. So rise, not in reaction, but in revolution, not with chaos, but with clarity, not following the world, but leading your own. Because when you win the morning, you begin to win your identity. And when you win your identity, the world has no choice but to follow your lead. And once you've spoken your direction, you must move your body into alignment with it. Because it's not enough to say the words. You must become them. And your body is the first place your identity shows up. You don't need a gym. You don't need a trainer. You need motion, because motion creates emotion. The way you move will either pull you into power or drag you back into passivity. Stand tall. Roll your shoulders back. Breathe deep into your belly. Take up space in your own life. This isn't about fitness. It's about frequency. When you shift your posture, you shift your perspective. When you change your breathing, you change your biology. You wake up the warrior inside you who has been waiting for your permission to lead. Do not lounge into your life. Winners do not wait for energy. They generate it. They train their physiology like they train their mind. They walk fast. They stretch wide. They ignite momentum. Because when your body moves, your confidence rises. Your clarity sharpens. Your decision-making becomes precise. You become someone who doesn't just talk power, you transmit it. Your state is your strategy, and your body is the switch. If you want to feel different, you must move different. You cannot wake up in stillness and expect your life to roar. You must rise into the fire. Shake off the heaviness. Walk outside. Breathe in the air like it belongs to a future you own. There is no better time than now. No better place than your morning. No better person than the one staring back at you in the mirror. Because when you move with purpose, people feel it. They may not say it, but they see it in your eyes, in your steps, in your presence. You become a storm wrapped in calm, grounded, steady, unshakable. And from that place, now you write. Not for show, not for anyone else. You write to anchor your thoughts before the world floods your mind with theirs. Because the mind in the morning is like wet cement. Whatever you press into it will set. Do not let social media set it. Do not let someone's text set it. You must set it with your own hands, your own ink, your own words. 5 minutes, 10 lines. That's all it takes. Write what you're thinking. Write what you're feeling. Write what you fear. Write what you refuse to fear anymore. Writing is not about journaling. It's about jurisdiction. It's about taking command of your consciousness. When you write, you tell your mind, I see you. I'm listening. I'm leading. And something powerful happens. Your thoughts become real. Vague emotions become specific goals. Swirling pressure becomes clarity. The act of writing is the act of owning your mind. This is what leaders do. Lincoln wrote. Aurelius wrote. Edison wrote. They didn't write because they had time. They wrote because they didn't have time to waste their thoughts. And neither do you. Because if you don't write your future will write you out of it. The words you write each morning are not just ink, they are intention. And intention repeated becomes identity. Identity becomes trajectory. Trajectory becomes legacy. So don't just write for peace. Write for power, for presence, for precision. And as you sit there, writing your next chapter before the world even knows you're awake, anchor yourself with gratitude. This is not fluff. This is fire. Gratitude is not weakness. Gratitude is warfare. It slaughters comparison. It destroys lack. It chokes the voice that says you're not enough and replaces it with you already have more than enough to begin. You want to multiply your momentum? Start with what you already have. The breath in your lungs, the vision in your mind, the ability to choose, the chance to try again. Gratitude is not a mood, it is a mindset. It is not an afterthought. It is the atmosphere you build your life in. And when you start your morning in gratitude, the world can't touch your energy because you're not entering the day empty. You're entering full. Gratitude flips the switch. It reminds you that you're not desperate. You're dangerous, because nothing is more dangerous than a person who realizes they're already blessed. That person doesn't beg. That person builds. They don't complain. They create. They don't chase approval. They move in alignment. So don't just list your blessings. Live from them. Speak them aloud. Write them down. And sit in the truth that you are already equipped to become who you're meant to be. And now, with clarity in your mind, fire in your body, and peace in your spirit, you do one more thing. You choose your target. Not 5, not 10, just one. Because success is not doing everything. It's doing the right thing, and doing it first. When you wake up and try to attack a list of 30 things, you move in anxiety, not effectiveness. You become busy instead of bold, exhausted instead of efficient. But when you choose one powerful objective, one strike point that moves the needle, you gain something most people never experience in their entire day: direction, clarity, confidence. You train your mind to say, I don't need to chase everything. I need to crush one thing. And that one win starts the chain reaction. It builds belief. Belief fuels focus. Focus drives action. Action creates results. And results repeated, that's where greatness begins. You don't need perfection. You don't need to conquer the world. You just need to take one intentional step up the mountain. Set your target. Write it down. Speak it aloud. Visualize it completed. Then strike, with purpose, with speed, with conviction. And when it's done, you don't just feel accomplished. You feel aligned. Because you did what you said you would do. You became the person you promised yourself you would be. That's how character is built. That's how confidence is built. That's how a life of meaning is forged in the furnace of morning discipline. And while the rest of the world is still groggy, still reacting, still confused, you're already moving in clarity. You're already collecting momentum. You're not drifting. You're building. You're not reacting. You're commanding. You're not trying to figure it out as you go. You're leading from the front. And if you do this not once but daily, relentlessly, obsessively, your life changes. Not because you added more to your plate, but because you removed the chaos and replaced it with power. And when you build that power, something sacred begins to happen. You no longer wake up wondering who you are. You decide, before your feet even hit the ground. You define your identity, not based on your past, not based on what others say, but based on your vision, based on the future you're stepping into, because every morning is an identity decision, and most people skip it. They wake up and let their feelings decide. If they feel tired, they act small. If they feel fear, they play safe. If they feel overwhelmed, they shrink back. They let emotion become their compass. But emotion is not a compass. It's a current, and currents carry people who don't anchor themselves. You are not that person. You choose your identity before the day chooses it for you. You do not wait to feel strong. You declare it. You do not wait to feel confident. You speak it. You do not wait for permission. You lead yourself, because leadership does not begin on a stage. It begins in the silence of the soul, in the quiet, before the world starts talking. In the moment you stare into the mirror and say with full conviction, "This is who I choose to be today, not someday, not when it's convenient, not when the results show up. Today, now, this moment." And that declaration, it changes how you carry yourself. Your tone changes, your energy shifts, your posture straightens. You begin to walk not like someone trying to prove something, but like someone who already knows. You bring presence, you bring direction, you bring certainty into every room, not because of the noise you make, but because of the power you carry. Because when you lead yourself first, the world feels it. It bends to the energy of those who know who they are, not in arrogance, but in alignment. This is why most people can't figure out how to change their lives, because they keep trying to change their behavior without changing their identity. They keep adjusting actions without adjusting their standards. But it doesn't work like that. Behavior follows belief. Belief follows decision, and decision begins each morning. The question isn't, what should I do today? The question is, who am I becoming today? And once you know the answer, the actions take care of themselves. The path lights up, the fog lifts, because identity fuels clarity. And clarity gives you leverage. You stop chasing validation. You stop wasting energy trying to be everything to everyone. You start moving in one direction, not because it's easy, but because it's yours. That's the kind of focus that creates greatness. The kind of focus that's born in stillness. The world doesn't understand stillness. It worships speed. It glorifies motion. But the deepest strength is forged in silence. Before the meetings, before the phone rings, before the world wakes up, there is a moment. 10 minutes. Just 10. That belongs to you, not your schedule, not your inbox, not your problems, you. And it is in that stillness where truth is heard, in that silence where wisdom rises, not shouted but whispered. You don't need more noise, you need more connection to your vision, to your values, to your creator, to your breath. Sit in it, breathe into it. Let the world spin without you for a moment. Because in that space you remember, you are not late. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are becoming. And becoming is not something you chase. It's something you align with every single morning. You do not need more information. You need more integration. Stillness is how you download direction from the divine. It's how you reset your nervous system. It's how you find the strength to face the day, not with panic, but with purpose. This is not meditation for meditation's sake. This is not some luxury of people with time. This is survival for the soul. This is how champions stay centered in a world that wants to pull them apart. This is how you armor yourself. Stillness is your shield. It protects your energy. It guards your peace. It defends you against the chaos disguised as urgency, because not everything that screams is important. Not every fire needs your presence, but your purpose, that always does. So you sit, you breathe, you ask what matters most today, and you listen, not to the noise, but to the knowing. Because the quietest minds make the sharpest decision, and once you've sat in stillness, once you've reclaimed your center, then you rise. Not rushed, not reactive, but ready. Your steps are deliberate. Your words carry weight. You are not here to chase your schedule. You are here to command your life. And the final step, before the world opens its doors, is the one most people never take. You write it down, because a thought not captured is a thought that vanishes. A goal not written is a dream that dies. An intention not documented is a wish whispered into the wind. Your mind is a river. Your journal is the dam. It captures. It clarifies. It gives shape to the chaos. And when you write, you're not documenting. You're directing. You are taking the invisible and making it visible. You are turning possibility into plan. You are saying to your subconscious, this is who I am. This is where I'm going. This is what I will build, starting now. That kind of clarity changes you. That kind of writing isn't about poetry. It's about power. Because when you see it in ink, you believe it in your bones. You start to organize your life around it. You take steps. You say no to distractions. You fight for alignment. And slowly, steadily, your reality begins to rise to meet the vision you've carved into the page. And on the days when you doubt yourself, on the days when the storm feels too big and the climb feels too steep, you open that note and you remember. You remember who you are. You remember what you said. You remember what you're building. And you don't quit. Because your morning made you a builder, not a borrower. It made you a leader, not a follower. It made you someone who owns their life, even in the storm. Here is the final seamless continuation of your long-form motivational script. This last chunk brings the narration to an emotionally powerful, cinematic close, while reinforcing everything your audience has been building toward. And now you understand. This was never just about a routine. This was never about checking boxes or stacking habits like trophies. This was about reclaiming the part of your life that determines every other part. The morning is not just a time, it is a throne. And every day, you decide who sits on it. Your purpose or your problems, your vision or your vices, your calling or your comfort. You've already been handed the most powerful tool on earth, choice. You choose whether to rise with force or fold under pressure. You choose whether to command your mind or be commanded by it. You choose whether to walk into the world with clarity or be swallowed by its chaos. And what's wild is that the world won't even notice that you've changed. At least not at first. You'll walk the same street. You'll enter the same rooms. You'll speak to the same people. But you will be different. Not louder, not flashier, but firmer, sharper, stronger. Because something invisible within you will have shifted. And that shift will echo in everything you touch. You will no longer need applause to feel seen. You will no longer chase noise to feel worthy, because your mornings will remind you, daily, that you were born worthy, born capable, born equipped. And that fire, it doesn't fade. It doesn't flicker, because it's not a spark. It's a system. You built it. You feed it. And now it feeds you. That's how people create unbreakable momentum. Not in one dramatic breakthrough, but in hundreds of quiet, consistent, unseen mornings. They rise before the world does. They command their thoughts before the world programs them. They breathe. They move. They write. They declare. And they walk out the door already victorious. Because the real win is not the paycheck, not the followers, not the applause. The real win is alignment. It's the moment your spirit, your body, your mind, and your actions are all pulling in the same direction. That's when you become magnetic, unstoppable. That's when life starts to respond differently to you. Not because the world changed, but because you did. And it started with one morning. where you chose strength over slumber, where you chose stillness over stimulation, where you chose purpose over passivity. And if you did it once, you can do it again, again tomorrow, again the day after, until it's no longer a choice, it's your default. Until it's no longer something you have to remember, it's just who you are. You are no longer waiting to become, you are becoming. Every morning, every breath, every move. That's the secret. That's the foundation of all success. Discipline before distraction. Identity before instruction. Vision before visibility. Because the person who wins the first hour wins the war. And if you look around and you feel like life is rushing past you, if you feel like you're always catching up, always reacting, always drowning in urgency, pause. Take it back to the beginning. Take it back to the silence. Sit with yourself. Ask the question, who do I want to be today? Not 5 years from now, not when the world is finally ready to see you. Today. Then act like it's already true. Speak like it, walk like it, breathe like it, move like it, decide like it, because that's how transformation becomes permanent. Not when the world says yes, but when you do. You don't need to wait for a breakthrough. You don't need a miracle. You need a morning. And you've got one coming. Tomorrow. So when the alarm rings, rise. When resistance whispers, rise. When the mind hesitates, rise. Because you know what's on the other side of that moment. Power, clarity, confidence, freedom. You've been given one life, and every single day is a page. Write it wisely, live it loudly, and build it one unstoppable morning at a time. Because you don't become legendary by chance. You become legendary by rising.